I'm here. You're here. My beard smells amazing. Listen, guys, what more is there to do but just jump straight into it? Somebody, cue that wind effect. Bring it in. Bring it in. Somebody tote your bags in here. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bring it in. Bring it in. Bring it in. People. What a momentous day. J-Pow decided not to destroy us in the stress test. We don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but as long as the stock's going green, hey, J-Pow, we're here with you. Guys, we're setting up the anchor, try to put some E85 in that gas tank. Biggest things coming in on, obviously we start tomorrow, our AMC court hearing. Like I said, the most fundamental day for me is going to be on that 30th, and it's at 1:30 to 2:15 time slot, basically listening to rebuttals. But for those that want to tune in, you know, hey, there's 6,000 open spots for apparently 4 million investors. So we'll see how that rolls out. Like I said, I'm not about to try to break my head trying to get in there to listen to hours long of just garbaggio. But actually, I got the schedule that we'll be able to look through. We're going to have to use a magnifying glass because somebody just decided to use the worst camera, worst font they could and put the smallest. But without further ado, let's double tap in that bad boy, and we're going to go basically a little bit over coverage of J-Pow, the sentiment that he kind of had, which is what sent the market and the SPY up running. And then, like I said, going on that Friday, that inflation report. If inflation comes back better than what we expected, y'all better cue next week. Next week is going to get zesty, just like AMC stock got a little zesty today. Like I said, let's get down to it so we can get to this coverage. Get down to it.
Welcome back. Futures are negative this morning. Take a look on this week, the final trading week of the month, the final trading week of the quarter, and the first half of the year, by the way. Markets have done well this year, certainly. The markets are lower this morning by a fraction, but take a look at year to date as we close the books on the first half of the year. NASDAQ is up almost 30%. The Dow Industrial is up 2%. The S&P 500 higher by 14%. Much better than expected. More economic data is on deck this week. We're looking ahead to tomorrow's final read of the first quarter GDP. We'll also get the PCE price index for the month of May. That's out on Friday.
Here we go. Yeah. Friday, PCE, June consumer sentiment. Tomorrow, jobs claims. Actually, like I said, it's going to be, guys, this week right here is just the setup of next week and on forward. NASDAQ, as I've been screaming since the beginning of this, you can check the records. Tech came out and did it with Tootsie, and this is only the beginning of a teenage. This is a teenage bull rally, but this thing might turn to a young adult, especially where J-Pow's talking. All right.
Right now is Fundstrat Global Advisors Managing Director and head of global head.
That man look like he be doing weird stuff at night. Hold up.
Mark, great to see you.
Thanks, Maria.
So head of tech strategy, I got to throw the NASDAQ right at you right now. We were just talking during the commercial break. This is the best start to the year for the top tech names ever?
Who is
the
that?
Best start for the NASDAQ 100 index the first 6 months of the year ever thus far. It's up about 36%. So that beats 1998 and many of the early 90s years. So it's been an incredible.
The greatest generational wealth transfer ever is underway. Truth or lie? Here you go. You're hearing it from
really
hey, I'm not going to crack on you. Hey, I like you, brother. I ain't got no problem with you.
There remain a lot of people on the sidelines. I talk with a lot of institutions that have been loath to chase tech stocks and buy into this rally for a lot of the right reasons. But, my thinking is the broadening out of the rally, which started about a month ago, is really important to see that move into discretionary, into industrials. A lot of people said, well, tech's overbought. It's going to fall and join the rest of the laggards. And if anything, the opposite has happened.
Yeah, I like this guy more and more.
And for me, that gives me reasons for optimism in the second half.
So what's the strategy for the second half then? Tech strategy.
Well, I'll tell you what the strategy is. Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, XRP, Bitcoin. I got you, brother. HBAR, Ethereum, Netflix, Google, possibly snowflake, see-through air. Like I said, I'm staying on the sidelines with those. I like the chip makers. If you were gonna go to somebody that does like programming, Google, right? Intel, maybe. I gotta wait a little bit on seeing who is gonna be the best programmer and things like that. But like I said, you got big moves at Snowflake if y'all are trying to play that. Riot. Hello, Riot. Come on now.
Look, you want to stay not only in technology, but you also want to diversify into other groups like industrials. And I would argue materials and industrials make a lot of sense with the dollar on the verge of turning back lower. So, we're sniffing out an end game to Fed rate hikes. The ECB and BOE are going to continue to hike 4 or 5 times. The U.S. is largely done. So I think the market sees that. We see that inflation has fallen in half over the last year. Mortgage rates, despite being double what they were last year, are still down from where they were back in November. So that is a good thing. People are not selling their mortgages, selling their homes at 3% to move into 7%.
Yeah.
So the combination of the labor force and also, the fact that the home situation is a little sticky, has been good for the market.
Not for commercial real estate.
Better than expected. So it's been fundamental bullishness along with technical bullishness. Sentiment is not all that positive just yet, and the breadth has been expanding. So there are reasons why people should ignore all the news and concentrate on what's working.
Well, actually,
hey, man,
it's good
I
that
like
the
you
sentiment
now.
is not all positive because market.
Mind y'all, don't forget, institutional investors have not even piled in that money to the tech sector. Get your bus ride ticket to your thoughts on your yacht. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
Usually rise a wall of worry. Yeah. Exactly. Brenda.
Mark, I want to join you here. Some of our sector preferences are similar. We like industrials. We like energy. What is your view on valuations, though? Because my issue is when the S&P is close to 19 times forward PE, you have tech stocks in the 20s. I have difficulty stepping in with that marginal dollar into those super
called
expensive
innovation,
sectors.
baby. We're
So
looking
how are
to the
you viewing
future.
valuations here?
Do you see it going away?
Tom Lee, who runs Fundstrat, came up with a stat that we're priced at about 16 times when you throw out FANG, the large cap technology stock. So, the market's never going to completely sit at where it should based on intrinsic value or earnings. It can obviously go way higher or
we
lower
got off to a
than
bad
what people
foot
anticipate.
in
So
the beginning,
I don't
brother.
look at earnings as a means to time the
I
market.
didn't mean what I
think
said.
that, I see that earnings revisions are starting to bottom out slowly but surely, and they followed stock price movement, so that's a good thing. I don't see the market as being overly expensive. When I talk to institutional investors about the market, they say, well, it's overbought, or there's selective participation, there's only a few stocks driving it.
That man took them glasses off, didn't he?
Low volume. All these reasons are why people have missed the rally, and they're not embracing it, and they're not involved. And so those aren't signs of ebullient speculation where everybody are buying call options and they're making money hand over fist. They're reasons why they think the market's overbought.
This man telling y'all facts now.
Not, the economy going into the recession, the R word is likely a couple years away. It's coming, but it might not come in this year.
That's Q, guys, and this is what I'm trying to tell y'all when I say, even in yesterday's video where it's like we have demand inflation going up, it's kind of like America, like I said, we know that things that are coming. We know the dollar is being devalued. We know that inflation is higher, but it's also this is just to stand on it. Proud to be in America. I'm just tell you, the strongest economy in the world. The people are eating it. You still going to buy them $4 eggs. How? We don't know. You still going to buy them cars. How? We don't know. People, when we thought that everybody didn't have money, somehow you tap back down, it was more money. People cranking in more hours, but we're eating this. That recession is still looming. There has to be something done about it. We know the housing market has come, has to be popped. We know retail sector has to go through this deflation. These things still have to happen, but as of right now, same with how J-Pow, the statement he was giving, is that it's going to be a longer period of time, but if people can be this resilient, we can actually slowly check away at this and have a way better recession than what we were expecting, beginning of the year. And prior to that, everybody was like, oh, hell, it's going up in flames. Now you kind of like, okay, we're better than those guys. You know what I mean?
I don't think that we've actually seen the effects of a lot of the rate hikes 500 basis points.
Well, that's right, because it's supposed to take a year to 18 months to actually see an impact.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
So, the fact that we've seen recent bullish economic data this week, durables, if we see consumer confidence is good, home recovery has been a positive. The stock market's great. I mean, look, there's a dicey political situation. I think everybody realizes we're heading into a very contentious election season, but my thinking is we can likely avoid a recession. The market respects inflation falling more than they think earnings are going to be very negative, or the valuation might be a little bit on the high side, which I tend not to agree with.
Well, what's interesting about earnings, in spite of the worrying and the fact that earnings themselves have actually fallen several quarters, last quarter revenues, just the top line number, all-time high, right? So how can you get so negative about corporate America when you have all-time high revenues, coming through the front door, which has been one of my contentions and one of the reasons why I've stayed invested.
I think technical analysis is wonderful because it allows you to take the blindfold off and realize that stock prices don't always follow earnings or the economy or Fed policy, and it's really important to keep track of what's moving, and obviously if you can line that up with fundamentals, then all the better. But from my perspective, I don't look at the market and say, it's overbought, I'm not going to participate.
In other words, if the charts line up and all the technical stuff you focus on lines up with all the fundamental stuff that I like to focus on, balance sheet, income statement, what CEOs are saying, that's pretty powerful. Fundamentals and technical.
Guys, before you even answer, I'm going to tell you out the gate, the same as what I was saying when I bought it and tested at 100. Guys, the way that innovation works, you can't just fundamental innovation. You can't put a price point on, just as we said, electric vehicles, a car driving itself, robots, spaceships, cell phones, AI, no longer having to do any work. You can't put a price upon something that changes the world. The tech sector is the reason why it's up 30% to where the other market is up 5%, 6%. It's because you can't put that Tesla's only worth 150. How can you say that when this is a 1% of a market with all this room to grow and is devastating and destroying legacy companies? Gas is a thing of the past. I know we're driving around now, but you sit up here, you see a Tesla drive by, you're like, you see that guy sitting here like this reading his book driving by, you're like, you know what? Actually, this whole sitting behind my Toyota sucks. The innovation move is not something to pinpoint with just fun. Don't get me wrong, we want fundamentals as far as seeing growth. We want fundamentals as far as seeing exposure and expansion like Elon Musk is doing with Tesla, right? S-tier stock. NVIDIA, where you're seeing more and more companies partnering up. But also you want to be on the outlook, be like, wait a minute. Is tech going away? Or is tech going to get bigger? Are we going into more futuristic premise? Or are we going to go back more to brick and mortar caveman style? What do you think? You know what I mean? That's the simple of investing. And then if you're going to, of course, like I said, we like to have our smaller portfolio for our gambling. But for your long term, your large portfolio, where 80% of your money should be, it should be in companies that are shoe-in bangers. Tech, NVIDIA, chip, the H11, what is it? H100, H11 chip, whatever. You need to be riding in the wave of those because there is no doubt that's the future. Crypto, there is no doubt that blockchain is the future. You're watching BlackRock, you're watching Citadel Securities, Fidelity, you're watching them slowly move in while they hit you like this. When they open up their floodgates, you're going to watch stocks ripple and run. See what I did there? Ripple XRP. Let's get back down to it.
Together.
This has been one of the rare years where we've seen such a divergence because there are so many reasons to be negative coming into this year, but yet markets took off like a rocket and people largely missed the rally. You know, it's been flat-footed.
Any surprises from your technical strategy? Any surprises from
You heard
that you've seen?
Well, I was surprised that markets largely went nowhere for about 3 months, and that caused the breadth deterioration, and now we've just literally started to broaden out substantially. I think it's a good sign. I think that I'm expecting better markets in the second half, and I don't see any evidence of defensiveness. That's what we want to see to think markets are rolling over. We don't see the outperformance in the utilities and the staples, and we don't see that very bullish sentiment. So
Right. The other thing I've been watching is this cash coming off of the sidelines. There were $700, $800 billion of cash that moved into money market funds. You saw
Hey, listen, I don't watch these videos before, guys. I'm just telling you, this is what the fact of the matter is. Institution is sitting on the sideline. Even retail sitting on sidelines. A lot of us are still kind of trickling in. That's why I'm telling everybody, wake up, guys. Don't miss it trying to time the market. Dollar cost average, we're going long term on these. Now, if you're talking about swing trades a month, 2 months, all right, you want to be more precise. But if you're talking about a 5-10 year horizon, don't sit over here and coddle and fight over $50 and $60 and miss a run up. People were worried about that when Nvidia was at 300. It's gonna 400. They're like, oh hell. You know what I mean? You can't play around and try to time this type of thing. Set in dollar cost average. Buy high, buy low, buy low, buy high. Build it up, because at the end of the day, you know it's going higher in 2 years. In 2 years, you think Nvidia will be higher than it is now? In 2 years, do you think Tesla will be higher than it is now? Do you think Apple will be higher than it is now? Do you think XRP will be higher than it is now? Think Bitcoin will be higher than it is now? Then that's where you have to look at the point of how we're investing on your long-term side of
that
things.
investors were generally underweight equities. After the banking crisis kind of stabilized, a lot of these funds are moving back into equities. So, you know, my view is we need to wait for a moment here just to digest all this movement that's really happened between mid-May and mid-June.
Well, the sea change was that the broadening out happened very quickly,
I like
and so all that
that guy, man.
negativity
Shout her up.
slowly has been coming back into equities, but it certainly doesn't mean that we have very low cash levels now and everybody is all in on the market. I mean, it's been very gradual. So the individual investors have been trying to step in, but most of the institutions are taking a wait and see, and that's my reason why I think the market rally can continue, because people are on the sidelines.
And I think it's partly because CEOs and businesses are, in some cases, in freeze mode. They're not committing too much money to R&D, to IT, et cetera, right now, because they're waiting to see how things play out. It looks like you're saying things are better than we all expected.
Market is embracing inflation, having fallen faster, despite the fact there's heightened geopolitical risk
Bullish.
or possibility
It's
of an eventual
stronger.
recession.
The economy's stronger.
That doesn't really matter for the near term, so I remain optimistic.
Mark, it's great to get your insights.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Always
you
a
for
pleasure.
taking the
Mark,
glass off, Mark. You look like a whole nother guy with them things off. My bad, brother. I didn't mean to come at you like that at the gate, brother. You're a fellow bull. You're one of me. All right, now, people. Let's double tap in here before we check in over our AMC stock. Obviously, as everybody's seen, we had that bullish maneuver closing in out the market. There's speculation on what this is. I'm not saying anything until, like I said, I see that break above that 516 level. Sometimes I've noticed watching these patterns, how they kind of move with this stuff. They like to try to get us bullish just before they try to snatch it down. I want to see this maneuver back up to 5 now. Mind you, the what's the word I'm looking for? Max Pain, before it was at $7, $6. I'm pretty sure Max Pain is sitting around, like I said, that $5, 516 level, which is what they always have to keep projecting off of. Let's see if we can pull it back when that 515, 516 level, if not lower. So Max Pain is coming down and meeting where price point is, right? So I just want to see if this is truly some type of if this is truly some type of shorter covering and things like that. But like I said, very high. Let me cover this before we get in that, just so I cover this. Guys, just from the ECD markets, J-Pow says be cautious in commercial real estate. He clearly stated that he's bullish, that he isn't indifferent to a bullish market. In the situation, all that he's aiming for is that he just wants to confirm that inflation won't spike like it did in England. There was a big sentiment the Fed is in control, and y'all already saw. Even in the beginning of the market, people were kind of like, oh, yeah, we're about to get rocked by this. The markets didn't just crumble and fall. Like I said, it's like they had priced in. Obviously, when I told y'all we had that healthy dip that was coming in, it was like they were pricing in for bad news already. And then the good news just sent it back off, which let me know that this bullish market has legs and it's got strength. Banks passed the stress test. Whether that's true or not, we don't care. You hear me? Long as you're making this money, baby. Now, let's get back down to what we're talking about, our AMC stock. Our AMC stock, now here's some interesting things. Still sitting at 0% short interest. Guys, cost to borrow spiking up to 328% on minimal shares. 2,000 shares, 328%. 100 shares. They took the 100 shares, 328%. Obviously, we know They can hit that fraudulosa and make some shares appear. But I do like how we're having at least some price movement that correlates with the fact that it says 0 shares available. Remember before they were smothering it down, 0 shares available, and it's still going down. Still sitting on the New York Stock Exchange, AMC is still on that threshold list as of yesterday. Obviously, you know that it's going to be a day. It's a day behind report, so we'll see tomorrow if we're still on the day. But like I said, there should be no way for that to clear if there's 0 shares available. And of course, we're moving into the court case Thursday, Friday. So like I said, that would be one bold. You'd be one bold MFer to be doing this in the midst of the court case, right? That'd be nuts. Don't put it past them because they don't care. But I mean, that'd be nuts. So it might be a little bit of let off this gas. This transition time though can still be like I said, guys. Remember what I told y'all. We don't want it, but we still expect. I still expect this conversion to happen. But how I'm playing, like I said, we're gonna cover again my strategy on how I'm gonna play this. If you don't feel comfortable, if you're not advanced enough to be able to kind of play arbitrage and know how to get in and get out and buy things like that, I do know that there will be some selling off coming from the news on if the conversion is passed. If the conversion is passed. If it is, you guys are people selling off. That selling, believe it or not, is going to cue those market makers have to go get these shares. That in itself, even if you're selling, even if you're selling, you're just on the sideline sitting back, which I said, don't be somebody where I see a lot of comments like on other channels was like, I'm done with the stock market thing. Guys, do not be pushed out of this money-making, life-changing thing that's called the stock market because we got into the fraudiest play of all time. Don't let Adam Aaron get that, I should say, AA get that win against you by scaring you out of the market or something that you clearly know that we should have won. They had to fraud their pants off to even get to this point, right? This should not be something. This was a cue for the last 3 years for you to pick up things and learn things, but don't let this be something to push you out of the market. And if you advance, there's ways to trade this and get your money up, all right? So that's one thing I'm going to get up top. Do not be ran out of this market on the air of Adam Aaron or GameStop or any of that nonsense. Robert, that's not a goal. You're going to face many problems in life in general. If you think this problem, your government been wailing on you. Hey, I mean, if you think that this is something crazy, you should go look at your tax, your checks that come in and figure that out. Figure out how you paying 30% of your money to something and ain't got no call on it. Welcome to the world. You know what I mean? So don't be people, I don't want to FUD. No, don't be FUDed out of the markets. Don't be scared out of the markets because of one thing. This is a type of play. This is the one thing that shouldn't even occur. But don't be run up out of the market. That's just something that I don't want anybody to fall at. But like I said, that selling that occurs could actually trigger price movements. They have to go get these shares that don't exist. How, obviously we know they can hit the Alabalos and do things, but that, believe it or not, will put pressure on this stock. The same thing that when I told people, a lot of people want to hear it. Same with our meme stocks. The next meme stock, if you do go on a meme stock, do not go in there, hold, and we're never going to sell. That cues to the other side, oh, you ain't going to never sell? Okay, well, we never going to cover, right? You want the other side to think at any point, $1 raise, you might dump that damn thing. And they're going to have to go get shares. That forces them to go and buy those shares, acquisition, and they have to go to a lit market to get that, and that's what continues to make that price move. You don't want them to know, hey, just send a dark pool. They ain't never selling anyways. You don't want that on the other side. That's showing the opponent your next chess move. You're what's it called? You're displaying you're telling what you're about to do. You don't want to show your next move to somebody who's against you. It's retail investors versus institution. That's what the market is. It's a beautiful thing. It's a day-to-day contrast, day-to-day war. It's the yin and yang. They need us just like we need them. We hate them just like they hate us. This is what the stock market is. Now, let's double tap back in here. Where was I at over here? Oh, yeah. All right. Just pulling over with our, what did I pull over here? Yep, we got our AMC Ortex. I just want to cover over what they have from our tweeter. Average cost to borrow shares, 578%. Max cost to borrow, 856%. Guys, we're climbing back up those crazy numbers. Estimated short interest, 23.98%, with 38, almost 40% in the free float on loan. It's insane that this type of stuff can happen, but like I said, we've already been doing this. This is not some, for any newcomers that haven't been here, we've been doing this for 3 years. Insanity, right? 8.91 days to cover, almost 9 days to cover. Some places to report 9 days to cover. We're going to stick around with the 8.9 until we get further confirmation. Guys, double tapping in. Here's the court here. I'm going to blow this up with the magnifying glass because obviously whoever this guy was wanted to just use the worst font. How you going to take a picture off your phone and then try to post it to the computer? Unreal. But like I said, here's our schedule. We're going to blow this up a little bit here. Starting at 9:15, 9:20. What is this? Is this Central Time? What is it? I don't know whatever timeline, whatever the time zone is for Delaware. But starting at 9:15, 9:20 Delaware time zone. And then, like I said, where I expect to be kind of, this is what I'm waiting for, which will be 1:30 on this on the 30th, 1:30 to 2:15, which is basically the rebuttals. I want to hear, what I'm looking to hear is to see if they even talk about necessarily the current fraud that's going on, how they're going to rebuttal or talk about what's occurred with this ape thing, if they're going to break down the fraud that occurred with it, or if they're basically going to be just kind of acquiring and talking to a settlement, right? Those are my two things to see which way this thing's going to sway. If they go in there and they go into it like, hey, listen, which again, they're already selling. So like I said, I have my expectations, unfortunately, of what it is. But like I said, there's plenty of money made. We're not worried. We're not stuck. We're not stagnant traders. We have expectations. We hope for the best, but I'm expecting the worst. So because they ain't going to catch me blindsided. They blindsided me way too many times for me to do it again. So like I said, I'm prepared for battle. I'm prepared. Everybody's getting prepared. I'm prepared to make the most out of this situation trading ways. Again, nobody's telling you to go sailing and run up on the couch. In contrast, I'm actually telling you there's an arbitrage play to be played. There's money on the other side of this. Once AMC becomes fundamental again, I fully understand people that are like, I don't want to deal with AMC, after the conversion or if that occurs, which I fully understand. Wash your hands of it. Move to this many of other plays. Tech sector, jump in that thing. But like I said, I'm always going to have a little bit of cash dwindling around AMC. I'm just, this type of stuff interests me, and I'm just not going to be fudded. I don't know if there's money to be made on it. Put it across. Another thing from Reuters, Reuters News. Basically, it's just ironic here. This guy said an AMC meme investor to face court over stock conversion. Is that Reuters News? That's the same thing that's going across the timeline of Webull if you pull it up your app as well. And I just said it's so ironic how, if anybody has forgotten how big this play is, how news is right in there on it just like we are. So like I said, don't be fudded into the place where you feel like you just made a stupid investment. We got cheated because we came in the middle of something that was a little bit bigger than us. What have we learned? Don't fight the tape on certain situations. If they got the banker and they're playing the monopoly on the monopoly board, they're the banker. Yeah, you can only fight so much. Just like you can't really, people think today, I'm not gonna get too far in politics, get my views tattered with, but your vote doesn't matter. All this arguing, people doing things like this are all distractions. I don't want to go too deep. All this down here, I ain't gonna say nothing. Everybody see what I'm pointing at. I looked down, I said, wow, all this down here, this is all a distraction. This side and that side and this race and that race, that is irrelevant of what's going on. The greatest generation on wealth transfer is underplay, and there's a bunch of things that are going to be thrown in front of your face, right? Especially coming up with we got one of the craziest probably presidential elections coming up here soon. All this is going to be in your way of you and your money. You decide if you want thoughts on your yacht, or if you want to just be backing up a Toyota into a parking spot. You hear what I'm trying to tell you? The time is now. The greatest generation of wealth transfer. We're going to scream it yet again. Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, XRP, Bitcoin, HBAR, Ethereum, XLM, Apple. Did I say Microsoft? Microsoft, Google, Netflix, Riot, Amazon. Guys, you know what it is. We scream it every single day, and we cover it too, just so everybody can see we ain't just talking outside of our neck over here. Last thing, I'm going to send y'all boys on y'all merry little way. Tesla is expected to hit a record quarter in China, even after heavy competition with competitors per analyst. Now, remember all that fun? Elon has been dividing and conquering India, the Mexico gigafactory they're building up down there. Y'all got to, I'm telling y'all right now, put some money, not financial advice, put some money down on some Tesla. If you don't know, if you can't go out and kind of do this DD, which said we're bringing this DD every single day, so you should be able to. And like I said, much love to everybody coming down the comments. Hey, I picked up some money. I appreciate you. Hey, y'all got to realize that makes me so happy because, like I said, as a man, I've always had a grasp of kind of like money and stock things like, but it always feels great to actually be of use to somebody, right? So like I said, I love coming on here and seeing people's lives improve. That right there makes what this coming up here screaming at the screen and screaming at the phone even more worth it because like I said, I'm expanding out and we're touching people's lives, helping people get more and more money. Like I said, the more of us that have more money, the more of us that can buy and corner markets, the more of the market that retail corner, the more the easier it is for us to make money. Like I said, the retail saga is only beginning, right? The more of us that come in, the more of us that get bigger. We're only growing as a participant of the investing of the stock market, which is why when I hear people, I'm done with the stock market, don't you dare. That would literally erase the true battle. You think AMC is the war? The AMC is a battle. Jimmy was a battle. The stock market is the war. You understand? The more of us that are here, the more of us that are in here, yeah, we understand. We know what's going on. Hey, hit this. All right, boom. Hold. That holder mentality, take that to Tesla. Take that to one of those things that's going to pay residual incomes, high pricing power, innovative stock. You had the right idea. We just applied it in the wrong way on the wrong type of thing. AMC is a trade, right? That's not a hodl. Of course, we got swindled into because we didn't know how we came into it, right? But now you know. So are you going to take the information that you gain and just throw it away because, hey, as long as you got legs, as long as you can go out and get that more money, you can rebuild whatever you lost. So don't ever forget that. And like I said, this is the beauty of it. It's that hustle. This that grit. You hear me? If you don't have, but I understand, if you don't have that dog, you might not have a dog in you. But this is so that whenever I have kids, I want my kids born rich. I'm battling. I got a baton hand off. My parents hustle hard to be able to put me in a situation where I can learn things and have higher education. I'm out here to get mines. And I'm going to be on that yacht in my G-string swinging with a couple of thoughts on these poles with a mini yacht next to it. You better mark the words. And if you doubt me, I'm going to show you something. You hear me? But guys, much love. Y'all already know what time it is. Damn. Hold on one second. You know I got to do one second. Yes!